Today, we're diving into a radical idea about our planet, and an even more radical and, yeah, pretty controversial idea about how we might try to save it.
For the longest time, we've thought of Earth as just a stage, a big rock where life just happens to exist. But what if that's completely wrong? What if life isn't just a passenger, but is actually in the driver's seat, actively steering the whole planet to keep things, well, livable? So we're going to look at this as a tale of two big ideas. First, the theory that our planet actually takes care of itself. And second, the audacious proposal that maybe, just maybe, it's time for us to take the controls. Okay, so this whole journey kicks off with a concept that totally flipped our understanding of the world on its head, the Gaia theory. So what is the Gaia theory? Well, it was developed by a scientist named James Lovelock, and his big idea was this. Earth isn't just a passive ball of rock. Instead, all of the life on it, and I mean everything from the tiniest microbes to the biggest forests, works together as one giant, interconnected system that keeps the planet's temperature, its chemistry, and its climate stable. And the first clue for this wild idea was literally right above our heads, because it turns out our atmosphere, well, it just shouldn't be the way it is. It's a total chemical puzzle. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Just look at this comparison. You've got Mars and Venus. Their atmospheres are stable, they're predictable, mostly just carbon dioxide. They're what scientists call chemical equilibrium. But Earth? Oh, Earth is a wild party of reactive gases like oxygen and methane that are all just hanging out together. Chemically, that should be impossible, unless something is constantly making them, constantly regulating them. And that something? Yep, it's life. And this system has been incredibly good at its job. For nearly 4 billion years, life has found a way to hang on. Which is even more amazing when you realize that our sun has gotten about 25% brighter over that time. Without some kind of planetary thermostat, Earth should have either frozen into a giant snowball or boiled away into a steam bath ages ago. Okay, so you might be thinking, hold on, how could a planet regulate itself? I mean, it doesn't have a brain, right? And that was the huge scientific objection. So to answer it, Lovelock came up with this brilliant little model. Yeah, a lot of scientists really pushed back, saying that Gaia sounded like the planet was thinking, or that all these organisms were working together for the good of the whole. And that, of course, goes against everything we know about natural selection. So check this out. Imagine a super simple planet. And on this planet, there are only two life forms, black daisies that soak up the sun's heat and white daisies that reflect it. So when the planet is cool, the black daisies have an advantage. They thrive, they spread, and in doing so, they warm the world up. But as it gets warmer, the tables turn. Now the heat-reflecting white daisies start to do better, and as they spread, they cool the planet back down. And the result? It's just amazing. Not a single daisy is thinking about saving the planet. Each one is just doing its own thing, trying to survive. But the collective result of all that competition is a planet whose climate stays incredibly stable, even as the sun's energy gets stronger and stronger. It's self-regulation, no thinking required. So for billions of years, this beautiful, self-regulating dance has been going on. But recently, a new force has shown up. Something powerful enough to knock the entire system completely off balance. And yeah, you guessed it. That force is us. We are now the main thing changing the Earth system, pushing its climate and its chemistry into places they've never been before, and at a speed that is just breathtaking. And this brings us to the second and much, much more controversial part of our story. If we're the ones messing up the planet's climate, does that mean we now have the responsibility, or even the right, to try and engineer our way out of it? So, welcome to the world of geoengineering, the idea of deliberately manipulating the Earth's climate on a truly massive scale. Now, we're not just talking about planting a few trees here. We are talking about planet-altering projects, things designed specifically to counteract the effects of all the greenhouse gases we've pumped out. It's basically a plan B for the planet, and it carries some enormous, enormous weight, both technologically and ethically. And when you get right down to it, all these audacious ideas basically fall into two main camps, each with a completely different philosophy behind it. On one side, you have methods to actually remove the carbon dioxide we've already put up there, and on the other, you have methods that try to cool the planet by reflecting sunlight away, basically creating a giant sunshade for Earth. So, carbon dioxide removal, or CDR, is all about tackling the problem at its source. Think giant machines that literally suck CO2 out of the air, or planting trees on a scale we can barely imagine. Now, these ideas are generally seen as the safer bet, but they're also really slow and, right now, incredibly expensive. Then you've got solar radiation management, or SRM. And this is where things get really sci-fi. This involves ideas like spraying reflective particles high up into the stratosphere, basically mimicking a volcanic eruption to cool the planet. It's fast, it's relatively cheap, but it comes with huge, terrifying unknowns. How would it mess with rainfall patterns? And it opens up this massive geopolitical can of worms. I mean, who gets to control the planet's thermostat? So, where does all this leave us? We've got this set of potential emergency tools, but none of them, absolutely none of them, are a get-out-of-jail-free card. And the experts are pretty clear on this one. As the Royal Society concluded in a huge report, there is no silver bullet here. The safest, most predictable path is still just to cut our emissions. Geoengineering is not a substitute for doing the hard work. And this really highlights the biggest danger. Those fast-acting SRM methods, they put us in an incredibly fragile situation. It's like putting the planet on life support. If we ever stopped for any reason, global temperatures could shoot back up with terrifying speed. Plus, even if they cool the surface, they do absolutely nothing to stop the oceans from becoming more acidic. And that's the profound, kind of dizzying place we find ourselves. In just a few decades, we've gone from the humbling discovery that we live on a living, self-regulating planet to the incredible hubris of debating whether we should seize the controls. The science is complex, the ethics are daunting, and the stakes, well, they couldn't be any higher.